We don't even have an intro. We don't have an intro yet. The tamborazo right after. The gunshot right after. I know, right? Let's go. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode on our brand new set. I tried to decorate a little tree today. Look at my little tree I decorated. Jay said it's scary. He said it looks like a Halloween decoration. He's like, that shit like way scary. But I think it's cute. Maybe we'll get some little lights. But, you know, it's our first Christmas episode. I thought for our first Christmas episode, we could talk about, like, our first Christmases we remember. And I had my first Christmas in Mexico. So mine, I feel like, we talked about this last year, but Will scrapped all the clips. And by the time it was my turn to edit, all those clips were non-existent. Remember we talked about the baby Jesus last year too? Do you remember that? He's nodding his head yes. You probably could hear him breathing hard. He's a mouth breather. So I thought for the first Christmas episode, we could talk about our first Christmases, and I can share mine. Are you guys down to share yours? Will, are you down to share your first Christmas?
We don't celebrate Christmas.
Did you ever have a pretend one? Or you're like, okay, this is kind of like Christmas, but not really?
No, we would go to my grandma's house.
And she would give you guys Christmas?
Have Christmas there, yeah.
With presents and stuff?
Yeah. Well, we would always get like
a little gift.
Regular presents, because they didn't want to disrespect my parents by giving us stuff that like we weren't allowed to have. So it'd be like regular presents. But I remember seeing like my little cousins or like everybody having mountains of gifts. And like, but you know, my parents always took care of me. They just taught us early about
the Christmas.
Yep. And it being a
Commercial holiday, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it is. I guess it's a lot more than, it's like a pagan holiday turned back into a pagan holiday, I think. Because obviously, it's like a Christian holiday, but it's not really a Christian holiday. It's actually a pagan holiday. And then now that we're so far into society, what happened? Oh. Sorry, I get scared. Sometimes it should be fucking up. Okay, so now that we're like this far, again, it turned into a pagan holiday because I feel like commercialism is pagan at its root, right? But I remember my first Christmas. I don't remember how old I was. Probably like 2 or 3 because I came here when I was 4. So it's probably like 2 or 3, which is crazy that I remember. But they say that you don't really remember, like, for example, that's like you don't really remember, you remember the memory. So it's like I only remember the last time I remembered, you know? And I'm a little bit fried. So it's like I had to really grip to these memories. It's all I have of my childhood. So I remember it was at my grandma's house. And they used to tell us, like, El Niñito Dios. Te lo trajo el Niñito Dios. That's all I remember. And then the first thing I got was like a little tea set. And literally those tea sets, like you could probably get them at the dollar store now. I feel like I've seen them at the dollar store, and it's like a little toy that comes like, it comes like in a packet that you hang. It's not even like its own box. It just comes like in a little pack that has like a hole that you hang, you know, like in the stores. The shit that comes, that's like hanging on the rack. It's not like its own box that's like big and heavy. It's like, it was hella cheap. And it was hella little. Like the little tea set was like this big. And I guess at the time it was like a big deal to have a tea set. And I remember my grandma being like, ya tienes tu juego de té. And it was like hella little. I was hella small. And that was like my first memory of my first Christmas. Then when I came to America, dude, that was such a culture shock. Like being in the USA, I came here during Christmas time, first of all. And I remember because when I crossed the border, the lady that I was crossing the border with, she was like, tell the guard Merry Christmas and he'll be really happy. And I remember I was wearing a little Christmas hat. She was like, say Merry Christmas. And I was like trying my best to say it. Obviously I couldn't fucking say it. And then I said it to him and he was really happy. It was like during Christmas time. I went to my cousin's house here in like San Diego or somewhere like that. And I remember we were taking a walk and there was like a big Santa blow up. And my cousin's like, look, there's Santa. And I was like, who the fuck is Santa? Like, el niñito Dios trae los regalos. Like, ¿quién es Santa? A fucking blow up doll in your yard? Like, I was so confused. And then that night, they gave us all gifts. And I'll never forget. I had a Barbie doll that was like a mermaid Barbie doll. And it had a little seashell bra. And it had a little perfume. And like, sometimes I'll catch a whiff of that little like bottle of perfume, and it's like a really distinct smell. I'll never forget it. So that was my first Christmas being here. And I want to talk about Niñito Dios because every time this comes up, when I used to work at Buffalo Exchange, they had calendars, and it would be like El Niño Dios Reina, and all of my coworkers were white or Asians and black. There was one black guy, there was an Asian lady, there was like a bunch of white people. And nobody knew. They were like, what does it say? Because it was like these Mexican calendars that would be like an Aztec calendar or like a Virgin Mary calendar, like a Virgin Guadalupe calendar. So there was one that was like El Niñito Dios Reina. And they're like, Gabriela, what does it say? And I'm like, it says baby Jesus reigns. And then this guy was shopping once and he was like, oh, hell yeah, I want that one. I want the baby Jesus reigns one. So in Mexico, they tell us baby Jesus. So I'm like, okay, we talked about this last year too. I'm thinking like, okay, Jesus is an adult. Like Jesus. So Jesus was like a 33-year-old man when he resurrected. But then not just Christmas, for Mexican Christmas, he turns back into a baby. Hold on, you guys, please. Is this real? Because I swear my grandma says El Niñito Dios. She's like, El Niñito te trae los regalos, right? I need everybody to chime in because if you're from Mexico, I'm from Nochistan, Zacatecas. That's what they tell us. El Niñito Dios te trae los regalos. So Jesus is 33 when he passes away or when he resurrects or when he's not here where he's still here because he's forever, but then he turns into a baby and then brings all the little Mexican kids gifts. But why doesn't the white kids get gifts from El Niñito Dios? Santa gives the gifts to the other kids.
Santa ain't got a religion.
And I'm curious if other cultures have a similar belief as baby Jesus, because obviously like Santa is like Papa Noel, right? They call him like Papa Noel and all this stuff. So I wonder if other cultures have other deities or entities that come to bring your gifts that's not Santa. That's maybe a Niñito Dios type beat. That's like a similar vibe, Los Reyes Magos, but that's later. That's like on the 6th.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I remember. Los Reyes Magos.
Yeah.
I feel like Christmas for me was that.
Los Reyes Magos.
Even though it's not on Christmas.
Yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't celebrate Christmas. It was just that.
They would bring you.
I would get gifts. It would be Los Reyes
Really?
Magos.
In Mexico?
Yeah. And the Los Reyes Magos in Mexico is a big deal.
What day is that?
I don't know.
January 6th.
January 6th?
I remember.
I feel like out there you don't even know. But it's Christmas.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like...
But El Niñito Dios comes.
People are like, oh, that's some American shit. You know what I mean? Like...
No, but I swear that El Niñito Dios comes. And then on the 6th, the Reyes Magos come. And the Reyes Magos, you put your shoe out, huh?
I don't really remember because I was so young. But I remember, I think it was like wasn't it the same thing, like a stocking?
No, I'll never forget.
You leave your shoe at the front door or something?
Yeah, you leave your shoe at the front door or you leave your shoe and they put the gift in the shoe. And I'll never forget because I remember one year for Reyes Magos, my mom took me and my brother to LA to go visit my uncle. So we were in LA for the holidays and we came home and my dad he got us Reyes Magos gifts. And I remember he put my shoe out for the gifts, and then it was like my sandal. It was like my favorite sandals, but he put my sandal under the gift, and the gift was like a big ass Lego set and a comforter, and he smashed my favorite sandals. That's how I'll never forget that you get your gifts in the shoe, because my dad ruined my favorite shoe that year. Next episode, I do want to bring like the history of Christmas, because that's something interesting to talk about too. Okay, so this is kind of creepy, and we'll bring it back. But you know how they're saying how like multiple universes exist at once, or like multiple dimensions exist at once, right? And ancient gods, like Greek gods, or those type of pagan gods that were relevant before like the dawn of Christianity or the dawn of civilization, and they were just hella potent, and it was like the god of war and the god of thunder and like Poseidon and whoever, like the god of thunder like nuts in the ocean. Now Venus lives. Now it's like Venus like comes out of a shell or something, right? So I feel like when I hear, now that I have all this information, when I hear the stuff about like the pagan gods of the past and how they basically survived the test of time, because we still have Christmas now, it's a pagan holiday, and now how it is commercialized, so that the energy of all of those things like just transcends time and space, and it's alive right now just as it was back then. And now it's coming all back to me, because I feel like the baby Jesus is something to do with like a god, right? It's like the god and it was like the mom. It might have been like those Ishtar type characters, and she was like in love with her son, and then her son dies or something like that, right?
So, yeah.
So then she like goes to be with her son forever, and the son stays a baby forever. So then all of the imagery of like baby Jesus with Mother Mary is of that pagan goddess who basically it has to. And then also like the pine tree comes into play also, then, because when he dies, like his blood spills on the pine tree, so now we like the pine tree is really important to Christmas. Shout out that man. Shout out that man, because he's, you know, like we still, even though we don't know it, those things are like very alive and well.
The Christmas tree is a pagan ritual, but it was a ritual that they, before the winter came, they would go out and cut the tree down and bring it inside their house.
Right.
And then they would keep it alive, and if they worship it, and the more they pray to it, the more they feel like summer and spring, like winter's gonna end. You know what I mean? Like, so they respect and just like keep it alive to you know what I mean? So the gods bring back, you know what I mean?
The other seasons,
and don't keep it winter forever. And that's where I feel like there was a lot of beliefs around. I don't know why they took that one, especially like the United States had, of course, Christianity was like the number one religion here, you know what I mean? So they had to make something that like matched the story, or the story was already connected with the Bible and paganism, you know? They just created Santa to have like no religion, you know? So.
But I feel like the baby Jesus and the Reyes is still, but in Mexico.
In Mexico, right?
Like, it is gone for us, but it's because we're here, and now we're accustomed to like.
That's true.
Like Santa, Christ, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you're all mixed in with all the other stuff. You're right. It is lost on us. I guess I'm speaking from the perspective of a Mexican person who came to the U.S. and basically didn't. I feel like my family didn't really stay in touch with the stuff that we used to do, or that they used to do. But then if I think back, it's like my parents also grew up really poor. So what they were doing was probably being out in their community with the other people in their neighborhoods, doing posadas, like sharing dinner, drinking hot drinks outside, like hanging out with their friends, you know? Not necessarily like exchanging huge gifts or doing white elephant or like going to a holiday party, getting drunk, slurping oysters. Like we're not doing that. So I feel like, yeah, all of these things probably are lost on us because of that. And shit. Have you guys ever seen that movie Krampus? That's my favorite holiday movie. Yeah, and it's like this huge like monster that comes to haunt the families because they're not getting along during Christmas. Like, that's my favorite holiday movie I ever saw. And yeah, I never really exchanged gifts sometimes. I know, I love that movie. That's my favorite Christmas movie. Krampus is definitely like the funniest, craziest, like most disturbing Christmas movie ever. And I remember when it came out, I asked this guy who I was talking to, like, oh, he's like, you want to go to the movies? It was like near my birthday. My birthday's on December 21st. So Christmas and the holidays is like my bag. And I always get whatever I want during this time because it's almost my birthday. So he was taking me to the movies. He's like, what do you want to see? I was like, I really want to see the Christmas movie. He's like, okay, yeah, whatever you want. So we go, we see the fucking Krampus movie, and I loved it so much, and he was so disturbed. I feel like he didn't talk to me after that. He was too excited about the Krampus movie. I don't like this girl. Chewy, do you remember your first Christmas?
Not my first Christmas.
Or like, what's the first Christmas you remember that happened?
I mean, every year when I was little, I would just go to Mexico for Christmas. So, like, when I told you we would go around, like, knocking on every house. Like,
oh, yeah, posadas.
Yeah. Mm.
That sounds so fun.
And when we do, like, we call it intercambio or something.
Intercambio, like a gift exchange?
Yeah, like, we still do that to this year.
That sounds hella fun. What about you, Jay?
It would just be like Reyes Magos.
Really,
I
still?
don't really remember coming over here because I was hella young, I feel like.
You grew up in Mexico when you were little?
Both. I was over there for like, till I was 6. And I came over here and then I went back again. It was just back and forth. But I think it was like Reyes Magos for me. Like, I don't really remember Christmas like that until now. Like, I'm just so into it.
You guys had a tree?
In Mexico?
In Mexico.
Nah, it was a shoe thing.
The shoe, right? You put your shoe out, I swear.
You just put your
Hold on.
For Los Reyes Magos, you put your shoe. Because that's for Christmas.
Huh?
I feel like the tree is like
really okay, so you just leave your shoes out? There's no decorating the house?
Not for that.
I feel like no. For that, you don't.
Decorated the house? They just leave your shoes out?
You leave your shoes on, they leave you gifts, yeah.
They left me a break one time. Because I was bad.
That's a break fun. Have you seen the videos of the kids that get cold and they're like, "Un asadito"? Have you seen that? Hella badass kids. You know they got super teeth in their mouth when they say stuff like that. So you don't have a Christmas. Okay, that brings me to my next thing that I really wanted to talk about because Will's a very special person if you've never met him. And I feel like some of you out there that are, you know, like you're adults now, but you grew up in a similar way that he did can relate to this. I personally don't because when I came here, my parents, like, they let me eat Cheetos for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and, like, they were always working. So I feel like a lot of the things that I wanted to do, I just got to do them. Like, I got on the internet really early. Like, I used to ride my bike all around town all the time. But the other day we're having Taco Bell, and I'm like, oh, look at the funny like messages on the packet, right? And Will's like, there's messages on those packets. I'm like, yeah, there's a message on every Taco Bell packet, and I love those messages because they're so funny, right? They'll be like, will you marry me? Or they'll be like, do we have too much clothes on? Like, they're just hysterical messages, and he has been robbed of these messages because he doesn't eat spicy food. So he just never knew that those things were there because he doesn't eat spicy food. And I feel like if he's missing out on that, there has to be so many other things that you're missing out on, right?
I don't care.
How can you miss out on the taco? Okay, but you never even thought to look. No, because you're not even picking it up.
Nope.
Nah, he liked runners the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, he had a run.
Forward.
I had, just because you said that, I actually went and bought some runners the other day. And I thought about you. Yeah, I was like, these pussy ass weekends. I went home and I put Valentina on them. No, I'm just kidding. I put some hot sauce on them because they were just not even spicy. No, I'm just kidding. But like, okay, so that I think that's what I want to talk about is like how I wonder how many things that we deprive ourselves of because we just don't want to try it or because our parents never like showed us how to do something or because we're just like, oh, I don't like that. And then you just are like, you never find certain things out. And it reminds me of like the double split experiment. Have you ever heard of the double split experiment? So basically like scientists did like a double split, and they were sending particles through the splits, right? So when they're watching the particles behave a certain way. And when they're not watching the particles and the particles have a camera on them, they behave a different way. And when so at this point, they don't know how the particles behave when they're not watching them. So it's like anything and everything is happening out in the world, and you just don't fucking know because you're not perceiving it, or because you're choosing not to look there, and there's just no telling. Like, there's just no telling what shape the world is until someone's like, you never read the messages on the packet of the taco? You never read them? And then you're like, oh my God, there's a whole new world. Or remember when I was like, Will, have you ever ate Maruchan? And then he's like, what's a Maruchan? I was like, he said, what's a Maruchan? And I'm like, a Maruchan is a cup of noodles. He's like, no, a cup of noodles is a cup of noodles. And I'm like, no. I'm like, Google Maruchan right now. And he Googles Maruchan. He's like looking at the thing, and it's a cup. He's like, how did you do that? How did you do that? And he's like freaking out, and his fucking brain is exploding. It's like, girl, have you ever left the four walls of your home? Like, you've never seen a Maruchan? But maybe nobody ever called it that, you know? It was always just cup of noodles to him. So that made me think of the double slit experiment. That made me think of the law of thermodynamics. Like, it just made me think of how much of the world is out there that we don't know because we haven't been able to perceive it. So I thought that was a fun thought that I had. I invited Enrique. He said he's not coming. Okay. The lookalike contests that are going viral and they're everywhere. Have you seen them? I wish Chewy was here right now, because the first one I saw was the Timothy Chalamet lookalike. Bro, we would have won with Chewy. We would have won. If we would have been to Timothy Chalamet lookalike contest with Chewy in like a little Willy Wonka fit, bro, he would have killed it. He would have murdered that fucking contest. Nobody would have stood a chance with Chewy there. So I thought that was funny. And then I seen a Peso Pluma one. I saw a... ¿Cómo se llama? Ese güey that does the bear. Jeremy, what was his name? I took screenshots. I feel like his was like one of the first ones that came up too. Oh, Jeremy Allen White. There was a bunch of them. Like, just off the top of my head that I can remember, and some of them that I have right here is They were doing like the Dodgers baseball player lookalikes. They did a Jeremy Allen White, obviously from the Bear. I feel like his was really popular. A Zayn Malik one from One Direction. Harry Styles. Peso Pluma at Echo Park. And I remember seeing that the Echo Park one, the Peso Pluma lookalike. Hey, you could have probably won the Peso Pluma lookalike, huh? Nah. Andres could have probably. Hey, he could have been a good contestant. I like it. Tell me he's not a good lookalike for Peso Pluma.
What do y'all think?
What right here? Yeah.
Right there. Huh? Okay.
What? Oh, they had a Raul Alejandro one. They had who else did they have? Chuy, I was just saying that you would have killed the Timothy Chalamet the fucking lookalike contest, bro. Yeah, Kylie Jenner's boyfriend. Oh, they had a Shrek one, the Shrek lookalike contest. I thought those were fun. I'm trying to think like which one I would go to. Not that I look like, but of people that I would want to see. ¿Cómo se llama? What's the movie Straight Outta Compton? Mm-hmm. And remember the actor that plays Ice Cube? I would go to his lookalike contest.
That's his son.
Let's do it here, Lake Merritt. Let's do what's his name? Fuck, I'm gonna put it up. That's the one I would organize. El hijo de Ice Cube lookalike contest, Lake Merritt. Ya se armó. That's the one I would support. 10 out of 10. This I thought was so crazy. This is like something that obviously I do my runs with the news. So the lookalike contest, I was like, okay, that's cute, yeah, whatever. Then I came across this piece of news on the Daily Mail that I thought was so intense. Niantic, the creator of Pokemon Go, is using all the data from Pokemon Go to create a huge navigation system allegedly one of the biggest navigation systems ever. And the company said it currently has at least 10 million scan locations from around the world to use with this. They call it with the navigation system, basically. So companies are looking for more ways to utilize customer data, and it's becoming the new normal. That's what they're talking about. Niantic said the data is unique since it's taken from a pedestrian perspective, unlike other mapping systems that rely on images captured by vehicles that may not include places inaccessible to cars. So they took the data from Pokemon Go, which has been downloaded, I think I read over 60 million times. So since the pandemic, since COVID, over 60 million times Pokemon Go has been downloaded and probably used, right? Remember that there used to be like so many people out looking for Pokemon? So can you imagine like all of the corners of the earth that these people have taken photos of? And they're selling the stuff on there, right? Because you buy like Pokeballs and you go to the gyms and stuff like that. So you're paying them to use their shit, and then you're doing the footwork for them. And then they're going to sell you back a navigation system that's one of the biggest in the world, with over 100 million places that you scanned. Now you gotta pay to use after you scanned it. So I thought that was crazy. And the fact that they started this like 5 or 6 years ago, so they were really playing the long game. Like they really finessed everybody out of their manpower and did it in a way where like you can't really be mad, because like Pokemon Go was so fun, right? And Pokemon Go was like such a cool time in our lives. It was like during COVID, and it was like during social distancing. All I remember was Bad Bunny loved playing Pokemon Go, and I never played. But every time I would go outside, I would see people playing it, and now to think that they're using it that way is really crazy. And apparently companies are looking for more ways to use customer data. And I came across this situation, and I'm sure a lot of other girls came across this situation after the laws like started getting staticky, where your period tracker, now it's charging you to use a period tracker, because now the data for women's periods and potentially abortions is really valuable. So now you're paying to use the app, and then you're giving them your data for free, and they're selling you your data back, basically. Like the program works because you're giving them free data, and then they're selling the data back to you. Like isn't that crazy? Is that digital slavery? Like what is that? That's digital slavery, right? Is that a thing? Like how, like what?
They say data in storage, computer storage, is more valuable than oil now.
Because of the utility of the data. Está feo todo eso.
They can make shit move.
I thought that was crazy. I thought that was so fucking crazy. Like, we're going into this new paradigm where you have to be smart about your everything. And I was talking about data in the last time.
Terms and conditions means something.
Right.
Just the button you press.
Bro, but then what? You just run it through the chat GPT or what? Like, how do you figure it out, right? Is that the new wave, is like running the terms and conditions through the chat GPT before you agree, so that you don't get finessed out of your shit, or what?
You could read them.
Oh, yeah?
And then people are like, bro, it's just fucking Pokemon Go. It's just a game.
But every single thing is...
I remember like talking about that fucking in Disneyland when like the girl ate the peanut butter or something like that, or something with peanut butter, and like they couldn't sue because like...
You sign a waiver?
No, he couldn't sue because like he was on some like movie program.
Oh yeah, yeah, like his lawyer, yeah, like he almost died, or she almost died. Oh no, he almost died, and then he got the whole lawyer case together. But he pressed the terms and conditions for a trial to the Disney Plus app.
Dang.
And right there it can't hold Disney like liable for anything, even I guess even in the park. You know what I mean?
Goomba.
Like,
That's like real mob shit.
That's crazy.
That's like they're so tapped in. That's a crazy mob
Like,
story.
at that point, you just gotta. Is it worth what you're going to get? Like if it's an app or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Like, now you just gotta like, you know what I mean? Is it worth that to you? Like, if, for example, if it's Photoshop, obviously, like as a creator, you know, like, is that worth it to me as a creator to do that? But obviously,
And even we had that conversation with Adobe that Adobe was also taking all of your shit, and it's like, is it worth giving up your IP in exchange of a better product, since you're the one giving them basically the trials, you know, to know that they're gonna make like the ideal product? I don't know. Are they our friends? Like, probably not, right? Can you trust that?
I just think they're ahead. You know, they want to be ahead.
100 steps ahead always.
You can do what you want, but if there's money being called for, probably gotta be a lot of money. But if there's a lot of money on the table, we just want to know what's up.
You're like, what are you guys talking about over here?
What are you talking about? That ain't playing.
Okay, but also you can also just sign up for a bunch of class action lawsuits at this point, because you know they're about to start coming in like hard after, I don't know, since this type of shit. Even like I saw Instagram has new terms coming in January. I feel like, what do you guys think? You think they're gonna ban TikTok? Yes or no?
I don't think so.
What about, do you
When are
think?
they gonna ban it? I didn't know.
Well, they were supposed to ban it in June, and I feel like they pushed it, and then now they're saying January
Because China has that data.
because of China.
Yeah, the company that holds that data is in the United
In
States,
China as well.
but China runs that shit. And they're probably like,
I don't know.
no.
With Trump in office, maybe.
That's what I'm saying. Anything can happen at this
I read
point.
something that Trump was trying to delay it.
Oh, really?
That
No,
Trump
it was
was-
TikTok.
Huh?
That was TikTok.
Oh, yeah, TikTok. Is that what you said?
Yeah, TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Instagram.
No, TikTok. TikTok's for sure, like, they're trying to, like, delete it.
They've
I think
been
it's
threatening
just
to
all
delete it.
Probably all the publicity stunt. Not a publicity stunt, just like
Just to get some traction,
just
huh?
pulling people off, you know what I mean? And now if he saves TikTok, people are gonna be like, he saved TikTok.
Right.
Like he did something.
Oh God, here we go with that.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Here we go with that again.
I mean, in reality, I kind of do see it as important because it's people that's making money off that shit. So,
Like TikTok?
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
So, and not as a platform, but more on the like people rely like their
The
lives,
creators.
like rely off that.
Tell them get a job. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So, yeah. I just feel with these politicians, it's like, okay, you got this company, you don't want to let us in. You better make a lot of money because we're gonna have you in court for how long? Because you stealing data, or it's just like, and then political, like this guy's gonna come in and be like, okay, well I run you guys now, not Biden, so stop that shit because you know what I mean? Like I want everybody to know that I saved TikTok, so chill, leave it for another fucking 4 years.
Remember Nancy Pelosi? And she was like, we don't want to ban TikTok. We want to make TikTok better. Tic-tac-toe winner. Tic-tac-toe winner. Bro, I was saying that for weeks. Every time something cool happened, I'd be like, tic-tac-toe winner. Nancy Pelosi's a cat, bro. Why would she say that? She's hella funny for that. Nancy Pelosi, you're a cat. Come on my podcast. I want her to come just to say tic-tac-toe winner. That's all I needed from her. You could go after that. Imagine. Take a picture downstairs at the girls' side. I know.
That sound. No, we just need that tic-tac.
Oh yeah, her tic-tac-toe winner. We need that. I'm gonna find this so we can have when we do the TikToks, we'll put on her tic-tac-toe sound, huh? Today we have somebody really special here doing a Christmas cover. Do we know what cover he's doing?
What song are you doing?
Yeah, it's my favorite song.
Burrito Sabanero.
So today we have Andres, and he's gonna do one of our favorite ever Should it be a surprise? No, it's not. It's Burrito Sabanero, bitch. That's my favorite song. I'm so excited. Bring his ass in here. Bring that guitar in here.
Hola, me llamo Andrés Rocío y les estaré cantando una cancioncita. Suena algo así, a ver si la conocen. Con mi burrito sabanero voy camino de Belén. Con mi burrito sabanero voy camino de Belén. Si me ven, voy camino de Belén. Si me ven, voy camino de Belén. El lucerito mañanero ilumina mi sendero. El lucerito mañanero ilumina mi sendero. Si me ven, voy camino de Belén. Si me ven, voy camino de Belén. El burrito es sabanero y así suena con su compa de porte blindado. Con mi cuatrico voy cantando, mi burrito va trotando. Con mi cuatrico voy cantando, mi burrito va trotando. Si me ven, voy camino de Belén. Si me ven, voy camino de Belén. Así nomás quedó. Feliz Navidad.